ser el emprendedor dentro de ti.
Descubre tu crecimiento personal.
Encuentra la motivación para obtener el mayor éxito.
Alcanza la libertad financiera para ser tu propio jefe.
Esto es
Sé el Jefe.
Sé el Jefe con Héctor RC.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Héctor Rodríguez Curbelo. Te doy la bienvenida una vez más al podcast Sé el Jefe. Hoy va a ser un podcast muy especial porque va a ser el primer podcast en inglés. Tengo una entrevista muy especial para vos. En inglés va a ser la primera de todas, así que espero que te guste. A partir de ahora voy a hablar en inglés, así que prendan los oídos. Today I'm going to bring you Mark Stephen Puller in this episode number 74. Mark is from England. He's a professional speaker, best-selling author, individual and group coach, and radio host and PR expert. We share a lot of things with this guy. His area of expertise is self-leadership and transformation, born out of his amazing life and near-death experience. Mark helps struggling entrepreneurs create a mindset and belief system that makes their success a reality. He's passionate and dedicated to inspiring others to overcome their own adversity and find their inner entrepreneur to transform their lives. Mark inspires entrepreneurs to find and use their courage and strength to empower and lead themselves to success. He helps speaker coaches and influencers to move forward, gain credibility and authority, and get results. I am super excited. Actually, this is the very first English podcast I'm making, because when I talked to him the first time, I loved his story, and as I said, okay, I need to share his story to all of you guys. So happy to have you here, Mark. I don't know if I said your name correctly, Mark Stephen Puller, because I asked you in the beginning, but I know it's just went with it. So I'm super happy with you being here, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Hector. I've been watching all the great work that you are doing. You said my name great. Thank you for the really nice introduction. I'm really excited to be on your show today.
Thank you very much. Mark, as I said to all of you guys, Mark has an amazing story. I really connected to it when we talked the first time, and I just decided I need to make a podcast with him. If I'm going to make one podcast in English, it's going to be with Mark. So I'm super happy. So Mark, please tell the audience, who are you now? Who's Mark Stephen Puller today?
I'm a very hardworking guy. I am a professional speaker. I share my personal story for self-leadership and transformation. I'm a radio host. I do international radio. I've got a radio show called Brilliance Business, where I interview leading experts in business. And I have just got a second radio show co-hosting on the Good Intention show on the UI Media Radio Network, which is a great network in the USA too. I do international press PR. I'm a public speaking coach, and I'm also a best-selling author. I've just published my second book.
Which you have there, right? You have it? Good. Let me tell you something. I was one of the first guys buying that. I can't wait to have it in my hands. So yeah, that's an amazing cover, dude. Jealous. Thank
you so much. It's called Step Into Your Brilliance, and it's literally, Hector, my full coaching program put into a book. It shares the full personal story of myself around storytelling and how to use public speaking skills. It teaches how to do sales, prospecting, leads, apps that are best to use for business. It shares how to create events, how to publish your first book. It's a guide for social media entrepreneurship and positive storytelling and public speaking. It's called Step Into Your Brilliance, and I'm really proud of it.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a major success. Even it's already a best-selling book in Amazon. I am confident it's going to be an amazing success for you. So congratulations on that. But Mark, the thing that drawn me to you the most was your story, and I really want you to share it with my audience. So tell us about the road, the path you had to go through to be here. So who was Mark Steven Puller in the past? What was your story? What is your story?
I was always the guy at school that got bullied for the way I looked, about my sexuality before I knew it myself. Big chin, big ears, gay, puff, you name it, I was called it. It led to me having really low self-esteem, low self-confidence. My education really suffered. I purposely left primary school and went to a secondary school that no one from primary school was going to. And that was great. I didn't get bullied for a short while, but that did not last long. Only in secondary school, the bullying was a lot worse. I remember coming home from school one day and the hard lad in the class came and kicked me in my back for no reason. And I had to run 2 miles home. My education really suffered. I started to play up in school to make people laugh, to calm down the bullying. I left school with really bad grades, really bad results from my exams. And I left school at the age of 15. And that was when my drug taking started. And it started on soft drugs to start with. Just soft drugs like cannabis, amphetamines. I did start hairdressing for big name hair salons here in the United Kingdom. I have always been a worker. All throughout my addictions, I've always worked really hard and kept a job. By the age of 18, my partying had taken over my life. I would go out clubbing every weekend and my drug taking got a lot worse. I started taking drugs like ecstasy and stronger drugs. By the age of 21, my life spiraled out of control and I became addicted to crack cocaine and heroin. That's rock bottom, Hector. I remember one day being in my bedroom on my hands and knees, picking up fluff off the carpet, thinking it was a crack cocaine rock that I had dropped. That is rock bottom, Hector. At the age of 21, I went on a party night out with friends and I tried a new clubbing drug. Having the time of my life 1 minute, partying, dancing on the dance floor. The next minute, I woke up in hospital. I had just collapsed and died. My chest had all been shaven where shot pads had been used on me to bring me back to life. I had bruises all up my arm where they had to pump adrenaline into me to get me back to life. I was living a bad life. My life was going nowhere. And Hector, I had just been given a second chance at life. You would think I would have changed my ways, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have.
I went straight from the hospital with the heart monitor still on my chest, the sticky pads, and I went back to the house party from the night before and carried on taking ecstasy the same day that I had just died. I had no direction for my future, no self-belief in myself, no ambitions, no vision for my future. A few days after that, my mum caught me in my bedroom. I still lived with family. And she caught me in my bedroom taking crack cocaine. She ran in the bedroom, grabbed the crack pipe off me, ran outside, chucked it down the drain. And she did one of the best things she could have ever have done for me. And that was to chuck me out of the family home. I got my own first flat and I had to start looking after myself. It really is true, Hector. People either lift you up or they drag you down. And I give up crack cocaine and heroin straight away just by using the power of my mind, the power of thought. I didn't see a doctor. I did it all from my own strength and my own willpower. I moved away from all the people that were dragging me down. And it really is true. Have a look at your circle of who you associate with. Ask yourself, would you swap places with those people? Because if the answer's no, it's time to change your circle. It really is true. People will either lift you up or drag you down. So all through this, I did carry on working. By the age of 30, I had had enough of working for other people, making money for them and not making much money for myself. And I left the salon where I was working to become a freelance hairdresser. That was the start of my entrepreneurship journey. I had a mortgage. It was such a big risk to leave a paid job to become self-employed. But sometimes you have to follow your dreams and your passions and take a risk. So I set up as a freelance hairstylist. A year after that, I started network marketing, which was great. I learned social media skills. I learned the power of branding, the power of a network. I really learned some great business skills. I built a team of 50, recruited into 6 different countries. But again, I wasn't following my true passion. I used to watch the professional speakers on the stage sharing their story and inspiring others at network marketing events. And I loved watching speakers, and I knew I want to be a speaker. So 2.5 years ago, a great point I want to make is it's really important to know when to end something and when to start something new. Listen to your gut instinct. So 2.5 years ago, I left network marketing and I jumped in the deep end to become a speaker. It's been a roller coaster of a journey, ups, downs, learning the hard way, making lots of mistakes along the way. But within the 2.5 years, I've spoken all over the United Kingdom. I've become an international speaker and spoken on the same stage as Jack Canfield. I've published 2 books. I've just shared my second book, Step into Your Brilliance. I've built a really successful public speaking coaching business. I've built a really successful PR business. I am working with big names in Hollywood, celebrities. I've got clients that are really big publishers. I am working with some really great people within press and PR. So it really is true that whatever your past, it doesn't have to define you, Hector.
Yeah, that is the truth. I mean, that story is amazing, man. And I just listened to it on a second time, but with more detail. It's insane. It's insane. It reminds me myself like back in the day. And dude, let me point out. There's certain things that I wanna point out that maybe we can discuss. It's just pretty insane. We were talking before about there are certain points that every successful entrepreneur shares. That would make it amazing, because actually anybody can accomplish certain things as long as they're willing to go through certain stages, right? And despite of the reality you were living at 20-somethings, and something super interesting what you said about your drug addiction and the partying, I've been there, done that, and that you came back to, it's insane. It's like until we switch, it doesn't matter how bad it is, you keep going to it. It's insane. I know exactly how it is. I mean, my lowest, this is your interview. I want to share with you something that
I am interested to hear.
My lowest, I was 2012. I had already decided to leave the Air Force. I didn't until 2 years after. But the Air Force became 2009. It became a means to an end. I decided I need to leave this. I mean, it's not what I thought it was going to be. That was the first thing. But the second is, I was making $400 a month, and I had big ambitions, and, I wanted to see the world. I didn't want to live, just to pay bills and die. So, but I was a healthy guy. Everything was fine. But then when I tried to reach out to something that what can I do outside of this? Because, this is what I do. I'm an instructor. I know my military career. I know my, the administration and all of those things. But it's not fun. I mean, it's not something that I want. Actually, I didn't find my calling until several years after, similar like you did. And I remember reaching out to what I had before. I used to work in nightclubs and being a model myself when I was younger. So I said, let's go to that side. So I started doing productions, touching people here and there to start building something. So I did, and I started doing something. But eventually, a few years after, when I lost everything, I actually started scaling up pretty fast. But then I lost everything I had, in 6 months. Also was a super tough period for me. My grandma, which she was living with me, I was taking care of her, she died. My best friend, he was my partner in this business, he died. And I lost all my money, even my car. I literally didn't have $1 to my name and thousands of dollars in debt. And when I kind of started pushing up on all of those things, I still had, this the negative cloud on top of you, on your face. And I also was partying. You said every weekend. I was likely partying every day. I was working for a magazine as PR in a magazine, and we were making events basically 4 days a week. And I was partying, and I was still a healthy guy until I started partying too much with the wrong people. Like the owners of this magazine, they were more, how it is, drugs, alcohol. Come on, Hector, join us. And you join, and when I realized there were 4 or 5 months in my life, I was broke as fuck, no money, no nothing. I'm doing drugs and stuff, and I was like, what am I doing? But you keep going. And I realized the moment I changed was because I was broke. I was, I don't know, maybe 2 months, 3 months at home with no money, just doing these parties, going home and then just playing PS4 or PS3 or whatever it is, playing PlayStation, watching TV, not paying the bills because I didn't have money. Every cent I had, I used to these parties and stuff to do something. You know how it is. And I remember the electricity being cut off because I didn't pay, not having money to eat the next day. And at 33 years old, with being an Air Force officer, because at that I was on a period, it's a legal vacation I took for 6 months, so I could do my thing. And so I was not making any money. So I had to call my father and ask him for money to eat the next day. And that for me, that was it. It's okay, this is it. I cannot do this anymore. This is for me, was rock bottom. Drugs, broke. With that, actually had 2 professional tied to university degrees, and I was not doing anything. I was just being lame. And that was it for me. And as you, I didn't go to a doctor. I didn't need a psychologist. I just built myself up from scratch with the power of my mind. So that's what when I heard your story, I was like really, really into it, because it's kind of like the same. And then, the interesting thing about your life, it's first of all, you start to do what you know, because I think we both share something that you didn't mention it, but I'm pretty sure we both agree. We will agree with me that at some point, it's not that you know where you want to go, you know where you don't want to be. So you just go to what you know. So where did you go? You started your own hair salon. You worked in it like for many, many years. So that's what I know, but that's not what you want to be. So you just started in it. And then one thing leads to the next. Then you started doing network marketing, but also was not what you wanted to be. But it's like, as I always say, one door opens other doors. When you cross that threshold, it's like you see a new horizon, new opportunities, and then, okay, where do I go? And one thing led to the next until, boom, you found your calling. This is what I want to do. And it happened kind of like the same to me. I want to do this, man. This is what I want to do. And now you're super successful after that. So I'm really proud of you, even if we just met. It's a really, really nice story, Mark.
You've summed that up really well, because as long as you're consistently moving forwards in a good direction, aiming for your goals and dreams, the vision will change as the time passes, but opportunities keep on coming, and there's not just one way to your final destination. There are endless paths to get to wherever you want to be. So just enjoy the journey. But as well, what you said about partying, I can imagine with your story, I did exactly the same. When you're on the drugs, when you're drinking, when you're sniffing loads of cocaine and other drugs, you feel amazing, because it's blocking out everything that you don't want to face, all those problems in your life at that time. But then the come down is really not worth it. Like, you have the high, but then there's such a low afterwards. So anyone out there that is suffering with addictions, I would say know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Really focus on what you really would like to achieve, and know that with the right mindset, with working on yourself, you can achieve anything. And also, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Admit you have got a problem. It's the first step. No one will be able to help you unless you admit you have a problem yourself. But don't be ashamed. Reach out and get the support that you need.
Yeah, I always say that and this goes for everything. You cannot be healed if you don't accept that you are sick, right? And it goes for everything, not only in the drug department or basically anything in your life. Most people, when I started coaching, it was by chance, because I started making more money, and somebody at some point asked me, "How do you do it, man?" Because they knew where I came from. And then it started escalating, and 1 became 5, and 5 became 200, and then I built this, you know how it is now. But the first big realization I had was that, yeah, people doesn't know how to make money, but actually making money, there are a certain set of abilities that you can learn. It's nothing out of the ordinary. You know what out of the ordinary is? Believing you can. That is the thing. I realized that most people, with most, I mean like 95% of population, they don't believe they can. They don't know they actually can. So that is a pretty good thing. So until they don't realize that, because we were talking about it before, what I call normal people, they don't believe that they can, because they believe they're right with their normal life. That's how things are supposed to be. And most likely you're making something wrong. So come back here. You're going to get hurt. Don't do that. You're going to risk it. You're going to be, embarrassed, and you're going to lose money. And they just want to keep you here because they don't believe themselves they can do it. And until they don't realize that they can, then they won't make it.
I agree totally, and I can agree, and you will know because you've been that normal guy. I've been that normal guy. I've not had any self-belief. I've felt worthless in myself. It does take time. It does take a lot of self-improvement. I have had to invest in myself, in coaches, mentors, speaking coaches, seminars, events, books, watching videos. It's an ongoing process. It is possible, but you do have to work on yourself and your belief systems. You have to look at the choices that you're making every single day. Every day, look to be improving. I would say a good place to start would be gratitude, visualization, meditation, journaling, and getting a little bit of exercise. If people do those small steps every day, that's a great way to get started.
Yeah, it's like a little pack of magic pills. Your exercise, meditating, learning is key. I mean, as you said, it's like if you don't improve yourself, nothing's gonna happen. It's just because, I want to live a better life. Do you like reading? No. Well, I don't care. Read anyways. If you don't like reading, read anyways. Buy yourself a bunch of audiobooks. Listen to them. Start doing something for your personal growth. If we don't develop, then there's nothing. And it's, as you said, it's an ongoing process. It's not like, okay, how many books I need to read to improve? 5, 10, 100? No, it's not like that. It's like you constantly need to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And as you said, seminars, conferences, mentors, reading, listening to others, meditating, of course, taking care of one's health. It's key.
And I'm very consistent as well, but don't let me mislead people. I myself still have bad days. There are still the odd day where I still can let my mood drop. I feel a little bit down. But as you work on your mindset, you can control it better and pull yourself out of it a lot quicker. But self-improvement, self-development, consistency, taking big action. I take action every single day. You don't have to do masses of amount of work every single day. People see a big mountain in front of them to reach their dreams. You don't have to see it that way. It's just small steps every single day, long term. Over time, it will take you to your end destination.
That is correct. It's like every single step on the right direction, and that is how it works. It's as simple as that. It's just that. You said something really interesting, because the truth is, it's impossible to have perfect days every day. We are still human. In Spanish, when I give my classes and I talk to my clients or my students, I tell them, life is going to happen. It's going to happen anyways. Your dog is going to die. Your daughter is going to be sick. Some stupid guy is going to crash your car, or you have to pay bills, or whatever it is that's going to happen. It's going to happen anyways. Life is going to happen anyways. The answer is, what are you going to do regardless of that? Because some people let life take over, so they focus into what I call life happening, and they forget to keep pushing forward. And you don't need to do massive things every day. As long as you keep doing certain stuff every day towards your goal, doesn't matter what's going on around. You just deal with that, but keep pushing forward, and then the results are going to come.
You mentioned a great point there, that life happens, and it's that victim, isn't it? That victim state, which I have been there, blaming other people for everything that's happening in my life. A great thing to take on board is, no matter what happens in your life, own it, take full responsibility. Even if you feel like the other person is to blame, still take 100% responsibility, because when you take full responsibility, you can own the good and you can own the bad and take full responsibility for it. And you are bound to achieve better results when you take full responsibility for everything that happens in your life.
Maturity doesn't come with age. It comes with responsibility. It's the most important thing. I mean, it looks like, trust me, guys, we didn't practice this conversation, but it's going like, it's insane. We're like-minded people. It's beautiful when two like-minded people crashes to one to the other. But it's how it is. It's how you just said. I mean, responsibility is the key. Because the thing is, if you don't take responsibility, you get stuck. You get stuck. This guy that did this to me, and blah, 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 and the negativity comes up, and you get stuck into the moment. You cannot move forward. But the moment you take responsibility for it, and you say, okay, this happened. He stole from my purse, but what could I have done differently in order for that, not to avoid it because it already happened, but for it to not happen again. You know what I mean? We need to take responsibility, because it also gives you power. When you take responsibility, it's like, okay, the good that is happening to me, I'm responsible for, and the bad as well, because it gives you power. It's not that we're these powerless people, as things happen to me and I don't know what to do with it. No, dude, it's happening because of you.
And when you're blaming others or judging others, that's not a very good energy to be in, to go out and achieve results and to attract what you want into your life. Once you take full responsibility, own it, and forgive others as well. Forgiveness is really important.
Yeah, that is true.
That's a good energy to be in, and it's more uplifting. And you will find when you do that, results start to get easier.
Yeah, it's just that. It's just that energy is super important. I mean, sometimes some people tell me, you're always positive, but because you're in that situation and you have money and everything is fine. And I'm like, dude, I get sick. My wife, we were struggling with her health and, traveling half the world for her surgery and stuff. And I have problems too, like we all do. And trust me, sometimes I cry, sometimes I get mad, sometimes like any human being. I'm still a human being. You are a human being. But that doesn't change the fact that you can still take things in a positive way. I always give this stupid example to my clients. I say that everything can be taken in a positive way or in a negative way, right? Like, for instance, you ask me, hey, how did you sleep last night? Let's say it was a normal night, like average. I can say, yeah, I slept well. Or I can say, I didn't sleep bad. One is a positive way of saying the same thing, and the other one is a negative way of saying it. It's a stupid example, but it's how it is with everything. Things are going to happen anyways. Our attitude towards life is what brings, when we vibrate in certain energy levels and certain waves, it's what comes. It's super important. It doesn't mean that you're not going to take care of the bad things, or you're not going to be able to cry sometimes or be mad sometimes. It's how it is, or frustrated, or I don't know. But the way you let the energy flow through you is how the doors are opening or how they are not.
And also, it's not always that easy as well. It's great when you are in that flow, but there will be times when you come out of the flow. But just forgive yourself and get straight back onto your daily rituals of meditation, visualization, gratitude, journaling. And as time passes, you just get back into the flow again. But it won't always be easy. Sometimes things will happen to you that test you, that are really challenging. But when you are working on your mindset, you are better equipped to deal with those situations. I can't stress enough how important mindset work is. It's changed my life, and without it, I would not be achieving what I'm achieving now.
No, and you said, I want to ask you a question, because you said something that is super important. that things are going to happen, and you need to know it's not always going to be easy. When you tell people, when I introduce you, Mark Steven Puller, this entrepreneur, he has 2 books, and you show your book, people say, oh, amazing, a book. And minutes before the interview started, you were telling me how stressed you are because certain things with the book are not going as smoothly as you would expect, which is exactly what happens in real life, in the entrepreneurship life. Nothing. What people see is the result. They see us and you telling your story of success and books and Hollywood contacts and radio shows, and they know my story. They see this guy, I cannot do that, man. These guys, they're up there already, or they're doing this well. But tell us the story. Tell the audience what you were telling me before, how stressed you were and crazy about the book.
So people only see the tip of the iceberg on social media. It's hard work. Social entrepreneurship is really hard work. One day you'll have a high, the next day you can be on a low, one day you'll be on a high. You have to realize that nothing in life is just perfect. You have to accept it as a whole. Good and bad is part of the whole. Now, this book is incredible. The content is amazing. Step into your brilliance. If you're a social media entrepreneur or a struggling entrepreneur, aspiring, or you want to learn presentation skills and storytelling, Step into your brilliance will help you. But the nightmare I have had the last 3 weeks trying to get this book right, I've had to read the book 6 times. I've had to upload my manuscript to Amazon now 3 times. People have brought the book. I've had to send out replacements because there are edits that have had to be made in the book. All my other jobs have had to go on hold because I have been reading this book over and over again to get it right. If you want your vision, if you want your dreams and goals, no, it's not going to be easy. But if you want it, you will work for it. You will be consistent and take action every single day. Like I've said, it doesn't have to be big steps, just little steps consistently over time. No, it's not going to be easy. No, there's going to be challenges, but know that whatever you want to achieve, you can achieve it. It doesn't matter what your past or your present circumstances. Never look at your outside circumstances. Focus inwards on your own goals, your own dreams, your own desires, and eventually what you are focusing on will show up.
That's so true, man. That is so true. And the book that you have in your hand, it's proof of that. That's a beautiful quote. Let's put it like that. That book is proof like that, because people see the book and they say, oh yeah, you're an author, like a best-selling author, amazing, good for you. I couldn't do that. But that book represents years, because you said it's your whole program, everything put into it. And I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm that stupid, but I'm pretty sure that you didn't create all of that like in a week. Did you?
No.
Exactly.
No.
It didn't take a week.
I had my first book. So it was literally all the content from my first book, all my video course from a coaching program that took 4 months to get all the content, taking my first book, all of that content, putting it together to then make this book.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, people think, yeah, they have a book. Dude, a book is a lot of work. It's months and months and months of work, years of knowledge put into something. So yeah, it is hard. But on the other side of the coin, you just need to start. If you at home, you want to write a book, you just need to start. It's just, okay, let's do something for it. start creating content. Eventually you can put all of that into one beautiful book and be your own author. But it's like a process. You know, you need to start step by step. Don't look at the mountain, do the first step and see it through.
So many people procrastinate on writing their first book. Write 2 to 4 pages a week. Within 4 to 6 months, you will have a 50 to 100 page book. Just start writing a couple of pages a week to get to your end destination.
Yeah, even if it takes you 2-3 years, life is not going to end tomorrow, dude. I mean, that's what I tell people. How old are you? And they're like 40, 50, 60, 70. In any of those ages, you still have like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you. So why are you crying about? Just start doing something.
It's so true.
Okay, so Mark, tell me about your future. Where do you want to be 10 years from now?
I've got big goals, big dreams, big aims. I definitely want to do more television because it's a strength I have with presentation skills and presenting and interviewing. So I'd like to see myself on a television show, interviewing people. I'd like to do a bit of television, film. I'd like a selection of more books to help people who are struggling, to help entrepreneurs. I would like to do a film documentary with all of my favourite influencers. These are things that I've got in my vision. I want to speak all over the world to help and inspire others that they can create their dream futures and create their success. Lots of work for charities. I've got big goals, big dreams, and for me, it's always about serving, helping, and inspiring others.
Yeah, that is the path. That is exactly how it's supposed to be, and most certainly you're gonna achieve it. We are gonna do. I know there's gonna be things for both of us in the future. We share a similar story, a similar background, and similar ideas on the future. You know, one of my goals is I want 100 million people to know my name, because if 100 million people know my name, then I will be able to help 100 million people. And that's what I want to do. And who knows what the future holds for us, but for you, for sure, is going to be a successful one.
Would you want to get your name out to 100 million people? That's a big goal for this book. I want to get this book into the hands of 100,000 entrepreneurs. So step into your brilliance. Help me with my mission of getting this book into 100,000 entrepreneurs' hands.
Regarding the book, we're going to leave everything, all of the links, all the information to Mark, both in the YouTube video presentation of this podcast, and also in all of the links on all of the podcast platforms. So all of the links for the book and to reach Mark are going to be available. Mark, what message would you give the people that is listening to this podcast right now? People, remember that they are mostly Latin American, they're struggling, or they want to maybe reach their potential, but they don't see how, or they're like starting to do it. And they see people like you in England, and they will say, yeah, but you're in England, not in Colombia or something. Just put yourself into their position, and what would you advise them? What would be your message to them?
Firstly, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, there's always something to be grateful for. Start focusing on what you are grateful for. The air that you breathe, the clothes that you have on your back, the food that you eat every single day, the water that you drink. There's always something to be grateful for. Once you start focusing on your gratitude, more and more things will come into your life to be grateful for. I have had bad mindset. I have had good mindset. I know what it feels like to struggle. I know what it feels like to be at rock bottom. my advice to everyone out there wanting to build a better future, if they're struggling, it doesn't matter of your past. It doesn't matter of your present circumstances. Just think of yourself as a street performer. A street performer will be on the street playing music, and the crowds walk by. Nobody takes any notice of them. But that street performer carries on regardless. And eventually, one person stops. And as soon as that one person stops, a crowd forms. Be the street performer. Play your own music. Focus inwards on your own goals, your own dreams, your own aims. And eventually, one person will stop. A crowd will form. What you are focusing on will show up. Think about the choices, what you're making. Work on your belief systems. And with repetition over time, you can shift into any reality that you would like to shift into.
Thank you very much, Mark. That was beautiful. I like the metaphor of the street performer. Okay, Mark, it was a pleasure for me to have you here. Let me put this. There you go. So they say both of us. Thank you very much, Mark. It was a pleasure for me to have you at the show. The very first English podcast. I'm pretty proud to have you on that one, and I'm grateful for you to be here, Mark.
Thank you so much for having me, Hector. If anyone would like to follow me on Facebook, just type in my name, Mark Stephen Pooler, or you can reach me at info@markstephenpooler.com. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Hector. I've really enjoyed our conversation. We have so much in common, and I look forward to our relationship. And also, I'd like to interview you on my radio show too.
That will be my pleasure. Thank you, Mark, again. A todos los que están escuchando, un placer para mí estar con ustedes. Espero que les haya gustado la entrevista. Aprendan inglés si no saben. La primera entrevista en inglés dentro del podcast Sé el Jefe, Historias de Éxito. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Les recuerdo que la información de Mark va a estar en la descripción de este video y también en el podcast. El podcast lo pueden escuchar en iOS, SoundCloud, Spreaker, en Spotify, también en la aplicación dedicada en Android. Muchísimas gracias por escuchar. Como digo, siempre nos despedimos ahora. Sigan aprendiendo, sigan creciendo. Nos vemos en la cima. Chao, chao.